Hello everyone, my name is Straz and welcome once again to the Monday Melee. This week we're analyzing a game from the NA Spring Championship Qualifier between Cloud9 and Cognitive on Cursed Hollow. Up until now, this has been a tense, fairly even game. This is game 3 of the semifinals, meaning that the winner here is setting themselves up to compete for $100,000 in the North American finals, and if they can get past that stage, $500,000 in the World Finals. The tribute has just spawned, and it's an incredibly important one for both teams. If Cognitive can secure this tribute, then they will get a curse on Cloud9, which will almost certainly allow them to snowball to the end of the game. Before this fight starts in earnest though, I'm going to pause things so we can take a look at everyone's positioning. The first player I want to talk about is K1 Pro. Sitting in the back is Rainer. He's essentially setting himself up to have a great team fight. While Rainer's not the squishiest hero in the game, he is essentially wearing armor made out of paper mache. King Caffeine, the Stitches player, is pushed all the way up here. This is great not only because he's a tank and he needs to protect the rest of his team, but because he's a Stitches player and this is going to allow him to have a better range on his hook. While Dunk Train on Tassadar might seem to be in a bad position here, he's actually in a fantastic one. As soon as Stitches decides that he wants to play and he throws out that hook, Tassadar is going to be able to drop a force wall, which is going to isolate whatever player gets hit by that hook. It's also worth mentioning that Brightwing has yet to phase shift into this fight. That's a strategic choice as Brightwing has picked phase shield, meaning whoever she teleports in on is going to get a shield. Cognitive's positioning isn't bad either, though it's not quite as good as Cloud9's. I want to bring special attention to Faye on Kael'thas and where she's currently playing. By sitting behind the melee, she's ensuring that if Stitches does get a hook, she'll be able to help save that player with gravity laps and won't have to worry about trying to run away herself. The same cannot be said for Zagara and Tyrande, who are kind of too far to the south here and are making themselves an easy target for Stitches. While Shadowstalk has been popped here and they are stealth, keep in mind that Tassadar has just used his Oracle before I paused this, meaning that they absolutely see where they are, and Stitches knows exactly what the target is he wants to pick off. As we unpause here, Stitches is going to throw out a hook which is going to grab Tyrande, snatching her back to the rest of Cloud9. As soon as Tyrande gets close enough, Tassadar is going to pull a reverse Gorbachev and put up a wall right behind her. While both Kael'thas and Thrall manage to sneak around the wall, ETC can't, meaning that they don't really have a super strong front line. Despite this though, Thrall is going to throw down a Sundering, which is going to split Cloud9 in twain. The stun from the Sunder is going to allow Cognitive to get in a good position for a follow-up. Kael'thas, Zagara, and Thrall are going to use every single damaging ability they have here on the entirety of Cloud9. Despite that, there's no real focus target, as you can see almost every member of Cloud9 is taking damage from someone on Cognitive. ETC slides into the back and sets up immediately to try and get a mosh. Yet with less than a quarter second remaining in the cast, you can see that he gets polymorphed by Brightwing. Speaking of Brightwing, ever since she teleported in, it has been probably the worst day of her life, as you can see that she's going to escape here but only with a tiny fraction of a health point. ETC on the other hand isn't going to be so lucky. Unlike Cognitive, Cloud9's ready to focus whoever steps too far, which unfortunately means that ETC was going to get vaporized as soon as that dance just failed to connect. With that said, Kael'thas' chain bombs are doing work on Cloud9. With Brightwing backing and Zagara getting a good maul here, this is actually a good fight for Cognitive. Essentially, they've stumbled into a 4v3, which is very good for them. As you can see though, Brightwing has changed their mind and is no longer going to leave after that maul lands. Cognitive sees Brightwing coming back and realizes that very soon it's going to be a 5v4. While Cloud9 has low health, they also have low health and they realize they need to get out of there now. While you might think that they have a good chance to still win this if they just turn around and decide to fight Cloud9, almost all their abilities are on cooldown right now, meaning that they just don't have the damage to take anyone down. While Tyrande's bird is going to almost kill Brightwing, once again he's going to escape with almost no HP. At the same time, Stitches is going to land a hook on Thrall, which is immediately followed up by a wall by Tassadar. This traps him and kills him. While up to this point Cognitive could have pulled off some magic, that's going to seal the deal, and now they know there's nothing that they can do, they just need to get out of there, just run for their lives. A small detail here, you can see that Cloud9 is going to kill Zagara's Mutalisk. This is something you should always do if you have the time, as it'll prevent a lot of damage on your teammates, or you. While Tyrande and Kael'thas are going to be able to sneak away here, Zagara is not going to be so lucky. Stitches, Tassadar, and Sonya are going to run at her screaming with their cans of Raid out and quickly snuff out the light of her life. And just like that, a team fight that would have almost certainly given Cognitive the power to set up a snowball to the end of the game has actually turned things around entirely, making it look like Cloud9 now has a chance to seal the deal and eventually win this game. So what happened there and how did things go so wrong for Cognitive? The first takeaway from this fight is that tiny things often make huge differences in Heroes of the Storm. While mistakes were made in that team fight, most of the mistakes were tiny ones. They weren't huge, glaring, massive ones. For starters, while Tyrande wasn't in the greatest position to start the fight, her choice to come up through that corridor is understandable. If she goes the long way around, someone else could have gotten hooked far away from her, meaning that she wouldn't be able to heal them. While better communication could have maybe fixed that, as they might have been able to move as a team, that's super granular. Likewise, while ETC's dive to the backline might seem too aggressive, it was a good call. Cloud9 was taking a lot of splash damage, and Brightwing was clearly his slide target. Go back and look at that Mosh cast. It was interrupted by Polly incredibly close to his completion. Watching it live, I was afraid I was going to have to talk about frame canceling and Here's the Storm. The true big mistake here, if you can call it that, is about strategy going to chaos once the battle starts. Both teams clearly had a plan, but a hero like Stitches essentially grabs your plan, rips it away from your hand, and then stomps on it while laughing at you and all your friends. Cognitive was just not prepared for a hook, and as such, they panicked and started to damage whoever was closer to them instead of a singular target. This meant that Zagara sicked Mutalis on one target, Kel'Thas dropped Chain Bomb on another, and Thrall was bouncing between whoever he could hit at the time. And yet, Brightwing, Raynor, Stitches, and Tassadar were all below 35% HP, and Sonya was at half. Cloud9, on the other hand, didn't necessarily have the perfect hook and gank on Tyrande that they obviously wanted, but when things didn't go quite to plan and ETC was suddenly in their backline, they adjusted and took him down. Here's a shocking takeaway for this week's Melee. These choices weren't made by accident. The sort of reaction that Cloud9 had here was simply because they have had tons of practice. ETC was switched to so fast that I'm not even sure if there was a call to begin with. I think they just saw an opportunity and took it. The point here is simple. Analysis and strategy are important, but execution is more important. Don't just watch the Monday Melee and then think you deserve to be Master Tier. Go out and practice and try to make all of this stuff second nature. If you have to think about switching to the right target or about having the right positioning, then you have more work to do. That's all for today's Monday Melee. As is usual, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to throw us a like and let us know in the comments. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. As usual, Josheb and I will be casting Chair League tonight. Make sure you check the Heroes of the Storm subreddit later today for more info on game times and to see what games we are casting. I'm Straz, and I'll see you all next Monday.